Hello, I'm Dr. Luis Castro. Welcome to St. Joseph's Hospital Health Center in Syracuse, New York. We've got quite a unique story to share with you about our hospital and our community. You'll find that we are passionate about both. Here's why.
Well, I think what makes us unique is our history. Over 140 years old in this community, the oldest hospital in central New York, and really for that 140 years I think we've maintained this culture of putting the patient first. Every patient, every encounter, every time, we want the highest quality care.
St. Joseph's right now is launching a very ambitious $225 million expansion plan to maintain that history of quality care, while at the same time embracing the high technology future. In many specialties, that future is already here.
If you partner with a hospital that's committed to technology and innovation and the current standard of care, not yesterday's standard of care, then you're in a good situation. That's where we are here at St. Joe's.
Thanks, Dr. Salzauer. You know, I've been at St. Joe's for 13 years now. Here's my youngest daughter. My wife and 3 children and I love Syracuse in central New York. Because of the wonderful schools and quality of life, it's a great place to raise a family and enjoy the outdoors. Here's Kevin Schenk.
Well, thanks, Dr. Castro. We're up here on the roof of St. Joseph's Hospital, up above on the parking garage, and I'll tell you, there is one thing about central New York that you really want to know about. It's called our 15-minute rule. Anywhere you want to go within the city of Syracuse, you can actually get there within 15 minutes. Clinton Square, for example. The fountain downtown is within walking distance from the hospital. It is a great place to stop and relax for most of the year, and also a great gathering place for outdoor concerts and festivals. And of course, when winter arrives, it becomes an outdoor skating rink, and you've even got rental skates available there, and a big staging area for the annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony, which is a great family event. And you can see the city skyline from Onondaga Lake Park. That's just 10 minutes away. Of course, the Great New York State Fair just minutes away from the park, attracting as many as 1 million people every August. Kids of all ages love the Midway and all the rides here. Of course, the food is one of the big attractions. And that's where we've got another rule here in central New York. You don't count your calories when you visit the fair every year. And of course, for sheer beauty, there is nothing more magnificent than the Finger Lakes. The town of Skaneateles, for example, is where some of the Roosevelt family lives. In fact, they donated these stained glass windows to the local Episcopal Church. And from the roof here at St. Joseph's Hospital, I can actually look across the way through downtown Syracuse and see our Donna Adamo. She's down on Armory Square right now. Donna, how are you?
Hi, Kevin. Downtown is the place to be if you're looking for the perfect restaurant, some great clubs, or even some dynamic shopping. Now, part of the excitement at Armory Square is not only visiting your favorite places, but also watching the area grow. Possibilities, for example, was one of the first restaurants, but there's now a dozen more. Armory Square has a new hotel now, and another one is being planned. More luxury condominiums are also on the way. The most, which is to say the Museum of Science and Technology, is also a big attraction. And the dinosaur, located just a few blocks from the hospital, is perhaps the biggest attraction of all in Syracuse. What they can do with barbecued pork ribs and chicken could fill a cookbook, and they've got one of those. Dinosaur Barbecue also features live jazz music, specialty beers, outdoor dining, and a space at the curb for your motorcycle. ABC's Good Morning America recently completed an unscientific survey which voted the Dinosaur America's best barbecue restaurant. I'm so hungry. What's a girl to do? And there's so many choices, like the swag sampler plate, the drunken spicy shrimp bowl, the pappy slapping catfish strips, and the Texas brisket plate. Ooh, I've got some chomping to do, Kevin. Back to you.
Of course, one of the great things about living here in central New York is that you're very close to some major metropolitan areas here in the Northeast and all of their attractions. City of Toronto in Canada, just 5 hours from here. Boston, Cape Cod, just 6 hours to the east of us. The Big Apple, New York City, of course, just 4.5 hours. If you want to hit Philly for one of those cheesesteaks, just 4 hours away. And the nation's capital, just a 5-hour drive south of central New York. Dr. Castro, back to you.
Thanks, Kevin. Another thing we talk about here at the hospital, a big advantage of life in the Syracuse area, is the quality affordable housing and the outstanding public schools. Don Lark has more on that.
Well, Dr. Castro, this front page newspaper headline pretty well sums it up. Despite local recession, Central New York home prices hold steady. Jane Cagwin at Common Fund Mortgage explains why.
Our real estate market here in Syracuse and in all of Central New York is very stable. There really has never been an issue with property values dropping. Equity has stayed very consistent. And one of the pluses in Central New York, we don't see the huge swings in property values. So we're not seeing the big highs, but we're also not seeing the lows. And many homes currently are actually selling for more than the listing price. And that is just something you don't hear about in the rest of the country.
The public school districts are a strong selling point throughout Central New York, and people tell us this is why.
We had our kids in a private school for a couple of years. We found the quality of the local public school to be so good that we pulled our kids out of private school and put them in the public school.
This is a large district, 9,500 pupils, but even here we found ways to break it down so that kids feel part of the school experience. And of course, a lot of the districts in Central New York are relatively small, medium-sized districts, and so people really feel connected, not only to the school where their child is, but to the school district.
You are going to be able to have your children in fantastic school districts that graduate kids to top universities all over the country, as well as a wonderful quality of life. It's a great place to raise children.
And just behind me, the hills south of Syracuse offer great skiing and snowboarding during the winter months. And if you're a sports fan, you know about the Carrier Dome and Syracuse University. National champs, it seems, every year in lacrosse, basketball national champs in 2003. One key to that success is recruiting the best players. And assistant coach Mike Hopkins says the key is getting the players here to see what we have in Syracuse.
You walk into the Carrier Dome for a football game or a basketball game, and it's the excitement, and you feel the passion of the fans and the passion of the people. And I think when you talk about, passion for a community, I think Syracuse is right up there. Before, when we decided to raise a family here in Syracuse and that we were going to commit to stay here, people always said that the thing that's going to separate it is obviously the people, and in every aspect, from going out to dinner to spending time in the community to doing fundraisers to playing in golf tournaments, and especially the schools. It just feels like this is the best place to raise a family and to get really an intimate feeling with the people that are teaching your children to the community in general.
Coach Hopkins put it very well. His passion for his work and community is easy for us to understand because that's how we feel about practicing our profession with the team at St. Joseph's Hospital in Syracuse. We put the patient first, practicing the best care possible in a facility that's building for the future, in a community that loves us, sustains us, and appreciates us for what we do. I'm Dr. Luis Castro.